The morning chill hung heavy in the air, wrapping the city in a blanket of fog. The sun struggled to break through the dense mist, casting an eerie glow over the quiet streets. Joe McAllister, a janitor at St. Mary's Hospital, made his usual rounds. He had been working there for over a decade, and the routine had become second nature to him. Every morning, he would walk the same corridors, clean the same rooms, and greet the same faces. He wheeled the garbage bins to the dumpster behind the building, just as he had done countless times before. The bins were heavy, filled with the remnants of the hospital's daily activities. The familiar clang of metal echoed in the alley as he opened the dumpster lid. It was a sound he had grown accustomed to, a part of his daily routine. As he heaved the first bin, a faint whimper stopped him cold. He froze, heart pounding, straining to hear the sound again. It was so out of place, so unexpected in the stillness of the morning. The sound came again, soft but insistent. Panic tightened his throat as he realized it was a cry for help. He looked around, trying to pinpoint the source of the noise. He peered into the dumpster, his breath catching in his throat. What he saw made his blood run cold. Two tiny faces stared back at him, their eyes wide with fear and confusion. They were so small, so vulnerable. Two babies wrapped in thin blankets. Abandoned. Alone. Joe's mind reeled as he tried to comprehend the situation. How could someone do this? How could they leave these innocent lives to fend for themselves? He scrambled for his phone, his calloused fingers fumbling as he dialed 911. His hands shook so badly that he almost dropped the phone. He blurted out his location, his voice thick with shock and urgency. He could barely get the words out, his mind racing with 1,000 thoughts. Every second felt like an eternity as he waited for help to arrive. The sound of the ticking clock seemed to mock him, each tick a reminder of the precious time slipping away. He couldn't take his eyes off them. The babies looked back at him with wide, trusting eyes, completely unaware of the danger they were in. Two innocent lives, discarded like yesterday's trash. The thought made his stomach turn. How could anyone be so heartless? He vowed silently to do everything he could to help them. He would not let these babies become just another tragic statistic. He would fight for them, no matter what it took. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. Joe's heart pounded in his chest. A police car screeched to a halt. Two officers rushed towards him, their faces etched with concern. He pointed to the dumpster, his voice trembling as he explained. The officers cautiously approached the dumpster, their expressions turning to disbelief. One officer carefully lifted the babies, cradling them close. The ambulance arrived moments later. Medics rushed the infants into the emergency room. Joe watched, his heart heavy with worry. He couldn't shake the image of their tiny faces. He prayed they would be all right. He gave his statement to the police, his mind still racing. How could anyone do this? He knew one thing for sure. He would never forget this day. News of the abandoned babies spread like wildfire. The hospital buzzed with hushed whispers. Nurses and doctors alike were shocked and saddened. The police launched an investigation, determined to find those responsible. Detectives canvassed the area, searching for witnesses or security footage. They interviewed hospital staff, hoping for any leads. The babies, a boy and a girl, were stable. They were tiny, but fighters. The staff named them Adam and Eve, a symbol of new beginnings. Everyone at St. Mary's rallied around them, their hearts touched by their plight. They received an outpouring of love and care. The nurses whispered prayers and sang lullabies. The investigation led them to Angela, a homeless teenager living on the streets. She had been wandering from place to place, trying to find shelter wherever she could. The nights were the hardest, with the cold seeping into her bones and the darkness amplifying her fears. She was found huddled beneath a bridge, her eyes filled with a haunting sadness. The bridge had become her refuge, a place where she could hide from the world and its harsh realities. She was thin and frail, her clothes ragged and worn. Each threadbare piece of clothing told a story of hardship and survival. At first she denied everything, her voice barely a whisper. Her eyes darted around, looking for an escape, but there was none. But the evidence was mounting. The detectives had pieced together a trail that led directly to her. The detectives, though, saw beyond the hardened exterior. They saw a young girl who had been through more than anyone her age should ever have to endure. They saw a scared child, alone and desperate. Her eyes, once filled with defiance, now showed a glimmer of hope. They spoke to her with kindness, assuring her that they were there to help. Their words were gentle, their tones soothing as they tried to break through the walls she had built around herself. Finally, the truth poured out in a torrent of tears and anguish. She couldn't hold back any longer, the weight of her secrets too heavy to bear. Angela confessed to leaving the babies at the hospital. She explained how she had hoped they would be found and cared for, something she felt incapable of doing herself. She was young, alone, and terrified. The streets had been her home for so long, and she had lost all sense of normalcy. She saw no other way. The desperation in her voice was palpable, each word a cry for help that had gone unanswered for too long. She loved them, she sobbed, but she couldn't give them the life they deserved. Her heart broke with every word, the pain of her decision etched into her very soul. John and Melissa Reynolds had always wanted a family. They had tried for years, their hearts breaking with each failed attempt. Then they saw the news report. 2 babies abandoned, in need of a home. They looked at each other, their hearts filled with a shared longing. Could this be their chance? They contacted the adoption agency, their voices trembling with a mix of hope and trepidation. The social worker told them about Adam and Eve, their story bringing tears to their eyes. John and Melissa knew in their hearts that these were their children. The day John and Melissa brought Adam and Eve home was filled with joy. The nursery was ready, filled with toys and the softest blankets. Holding the babies in their arms, they felt a love they had never known. They vowed to give them the world. Life with twins was chaotic, exhausting, and absolutely perfect. John and Melissa embraced every moment, cherishing the laughter and the milestones. They told the twins their story, emphasizing the love that surrounded them from the very beginning. Years flew by in a blur of birthday parties, first steps, and bedtime stories. Adam and Eve thrived in the loving embrace of their family. They were inseparable, their laughter echoing through the house. Adam, with his mischievous grin, had a thirst for adventure. Eve, with her bright eyes and infectious laugh, possessed a quiet wisdom. John and Melissa watched in awe as their children blossomed. They excelled in school, made genuine friends, and embraced life with open arms. They were a testament to the power of love and resilience. John and Melissa never forgot about Angela. They kept in contact with the authorities, following her progress. She had been given counseling and support, a chance to rebuild her life. They knew that one day, they wanted to meet her. They wanted to tell her about Adam and Eve, to show her the incredible people they had become. They established a foundation in the twins' names, dedicated to helping at-risk youth and supporting families in need. They wanted to break the cycle of despair, to offer hope where there was once darkness. The annual foundation fundraiser was a testament to their love. This year was special. The air was filled with anticipation and a sense of unity. People from all walks of life had gathered, their hearts beating as one for a cause that had touched them deeply. The room was adorned with elegant decorations, and the stage was set for an evening of heartfelt stories and inspiring speeches. Adam and Eve, now 10 years old, were old enough to understand. They had grown up hearing about the sacrifices made for them, and tonight they were ready to share their own voices. The audience watched in awe as these young souls took the stage, their presence commanding attention. They stood on the stage, their voices clear and strong, sharing their story. They spoke of hope, of second chances, and the journey that had brought them here. Their words were filled with wisdom beyond their years, touching the hearts of everyone present. The room was silent, hanging on every word, as the children conveyed a message of resilience and the importance of never giving up, of the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. The audience could feel the sincerity in their voices, the raw emotion that came from their personal experiences. It was a reminder that love, in its purest form, has the ability to mend what is broken and bring light to the darkest of places. And then, they introduced Angela. The room held its breath as she walked towards the microphone, her steps measured and deliberate. This was a moment she had been preparing for, a chance to share her truth and seek forgiveness. Tears streamed down her face as she stepped into the spotlight. She had found redemption, had rebuilt her life. Her journey had been long and arduous, filled with moments of doubt and despair, but she had emerged stronger, more determined than ever to make amends. She spoke of her regret, her gratitude, and the lessons she had learned along the way. Her voice trembled with emotion as she recounted the mistakes of her past and the steps she had taken to right her wrongs. The audience listened intently, moved by her honesty and vulnerability, and the overwhelming love she felt for the children she had given up. She expressed her deep sorrow for the pain she had caused and her immense joy at seeing them thrive. Her words were a testament to the power of forgiveness and the enduring bond between a mother and her children. John and Melissa watched from the sidelines, their hearts overflowing. The reunion was emotional, a moment they had dreamed of for years. They had opened their hearts and home to Adam and Eve, and now, seeing them reunited with Angela, they felt a profound sense of fulfillment, a testament to the power of forgiveness and second chances. The embrace on stage was more than just a physical act. It was a symbol of healing, of moving forward, and of the unbreakable bonds that connect us all. The dumpster had been a symbol of despair, a place where hope seemed lost. It was a stark reminder of the harsh realities of life, where dreams are often discarded and forgotten. But from it bloomed a story of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. Just as a flower can grow in the most unlikely of places, so too can hope and love flourish even in the face of adversity. And the enduring power of the human spirit. This night was a celebration of that spirit, a reminder that no matter how dark the times may seem, there is always a light that can guide us back to love, forgiveness, and redemption.